Spring is near. While some areas are still covered in frost and snow, early flowers like crocuses and snowdrops are starting to peek their heads out from under the covers of winter. Wiccans know this time is Imbolc, which means in the belly, and celebrate it on February 1st. Spring and fertility goddesses such as Bridget and Persephone and pastoral gods like Pan are typically honored at this time. Another component of Imbolc celebrations is fire, which ties in with the forge and hearth goddess Bridget and the Christian celebrations of Candlemas. Fire represents the returned strength of the sun. A traditional and fun activity for Imbolc is using animals for weather prediction, like with Groundhog's Day. If the groundhog sees its shadow, then there'll be 6 more weeks of winter. If the groundhog does not see its shadow, then winter will end soon.
Taper World, Taper World, Taper World. Hi, I'm Maria Redwater from Metrolina Taper World, just out of Charlotte off I-85, and we had a huge mix-up in our inventory again. Instead of getting tapers this year, we got 10,000 groundhogs instead. Oh no! But that's okay, because it means we get to pass the savings on to you. For a limited time, we're having a Groundhog 2-for-1 sale. Why know if you're going to have 6 more weeks of winter when you can know if you're going to have 3 months? 3 months! So come on down to Metrolina Taper World, just out of Charlotte off I-85, where you can pick up your very own groundhog today. Taper World, come and play. Take home your very own taper today.
Hi, I'm little Andy. Today I am here to talk about water conservation tips with you. Water conservation is a super easy thing to do. With the following tips, you can save gallons and gallons of water a day. Put a few bricks in the tank of your toilet. This will help use less water to fill the tank. Turn the water off when brushing your teeth, unless you have vampires. We all know vampires cannot cross running water. Run your clothes, washer, and dishwasher only when they are full. Just full. Collect the water you use for rinsing fruits and vegetables to water your plants with. Water your lawn and garden in the morning or evening when temperatures are cooler to minimize evaporation. You can find more tips on how to save water at www.waterusitwisely.com.
Initiation is basically a rebirth of an individual. It marks a putting away or a death of the old self, a termination of an old path, and a beginning of a new one. When you look at the root of the word itself, to initiate not only means to teach a secret mystery tradition or to give people the basic knowledge of something. It means to begin, to start. In the symbology of initiation, the initiate is taken down to their barest level. In initiation ceremonies, be it for secret societies or in spiritual paths, there is often a symbolic stripping away, which we see echoed in some of the myths that inform initiation, like Inanna's descent. The people who are being initiated give up the things that make their current identity, and at the end of that process, before the end of the initiation, they take up new badges, new clothing, new identities. Often they assume a new name. They commit themselves to new paths, to new duties in their lives. It's a symbolic rebirth. Imbolc follows Yule, which was our darkest hour. Yule, the winter solstice, is when the sun is the furthest away. We spend the most time of any day in darkness. The sun, in a way, dies and symbolically is reborn. Imbolc represents that time in the yearly cycle when new things are being given to the sun. The sun is growing in strength. We celebrate by lighting candles. We see this as a time when Persephone is ascending from the underworld. It's the counterpoint to the destructive and loss that we see at the beginning of initiations, the tearing down. This is the beginning of the building up. It's the new birth that initiation leads to. The basic structure of an initiatory rite has certain elements that you'll see time and time again. You'll see the initiate is placed into a powerless position. Sometimes this involves binding, sometimes this involves blindfolding. It sometimes involves removal of belongings or clothing. It places the initiate in a position where they are completely at the mercy of those who are initiating them. This surrenders the power that they are accustomed to holding. This is echoed in the myth that informs particularly a Wiccan initiation, the myth of Inanna, as she gives up each of her powers in her descent into the underworld. Another common element in initiation is the ordeal, a suffering period. Sometimes this is done with a stress position. People have to stand in a certain position for extended periods of time. Sometimes it's purely symbolic. Other times there's an element of actual physical ordeal, like a lashing or paddling you might see in a Greek fraternity's initiation. This is the suffering to learn aspect of initiation. It tests the mettle and the dedication of the initiate. Another element you'll see in initiation is the time of acceptance, when the newly initiated person is welcomed by the group that they've been initiated into. They receive the opposite of an ordeal. They're welcomed, comforted. They're given food and drink. This is a symbolic acceptance into a new life.